Hey guys, Bowie here, and today we're gonna talk about Lifestealer. With the buffs to Midas and the slower pace of the game, I did see a fair amount of pro players building Midas on Lifestealer, and that translated to 10 times more Midases in pub games, because pub players just love to farm. I've been thinking about making a Lifestealer guide for a while, because the hero is clearly a S-tier hero in dispatch. In case you want to learn more about Lifestealer, when to pick or avoid him, as well as a summary of how pro players are playing him, I'm providing for free a PDF file you can check in the description. If you want the full ebook, you can get the information about it at the end of the video, but let's get back to Lifestealer. I eventually came across Keywo's results playing him this week, and the results were astounding. Alright guys, so when I started making this video, Keywo was actually 7-1 on Lifestealer, and now he's 8-3, but you guys know I'm all about transparency, so I don't really mind. 8-3 is still an amazing win rate, especially when you guys realize how easy it is to build Lifestealer the way Keywo does. By the way, if you don't know who Keywo is, you're probably a zoomer that started playing Dota relatively recently. Keywo was the core part of a Korean team that managed to take out no other than OG from their TI run right at the start of the eliminating matches.
Three-man wall, the stuns, Notar being pushed through it too. He'll drop, Miracle, he just needs to do some damage, but he can't finish QO. QO will jump up, he'll kill Fly all over again, and GG, the game is over. MVP in a 70-kill, 39-minute game.
He was considered one of the best players at that time, and he is to this day just a really good player. But what really surprised me about the way he was playing is he was just rushing MKB every game. He did go for Armlet in like 1 or 2 games, but overall he would just get MKB and fight. Whereas a lot of other players get things like Armlet and Desolator and Midas, and I'm not saying Armlet is bad. It's actually an almost central piece of this hero, since he lacks armor items early on and the strength the item provides is unparalleled. But this got me thinking, is it possible that MKB is a better farming item than Midas? I designed a test to see what's the better farming item. I chose to get a level 7 Lifestealer with Phase Boots, Quelling Blade, and a little bit of gold, just fresh out of the laning stage, and send him away from the dead lane just like a normal Lifestealer will do in a game, since this part of the map is where there's more farm and also lesser chance of dying. I allowed the Lifestealers to farm for 10 minutes with a couple of restrictions. 1. Lane creeps were always going to be a priority since that's where the best farm is. 2. They would only be able to start cutting the lane creep wave once the large camp was farmed, and that's because they would eventually start losing gold from those camps if they are not clearing it every minute. They were also never allowed to farm past this red tree because that's where farm starts to get risky if you're in this side of the map. Lifestealer was also not allowed to hit the tier 1 tower. This was added to, just account for the farming speed. And to make the Midas farm even better, I chose the greediest item possible for them to build after Midas. In this case, Desolator. So not only Blightstone is super cheap and you increase Snake's farm really fast, but Desolator is incredible at acquiring farm. This hero, after all, only deals physical damage. By the way, if you want the full footage of this test, you can join my Patreon at any tier. It's going to be available for you for, pretty much $1. What you will notice really quickly is that because of Lifestealer's fast attack speed, Javelin is infinitely better than any other item at this price point this early. And I mean, everyone knows about this. Maelstrom is, after all, an item people would get a lot. But even against illusion heroes, Keywo was building MKB every game, so that's why we're testing MKB. At first it feels like they're farming at the same speed, but you can see that the Midas Lifestealer already has a couple of creeps that accumulate in that camp, whereas the Javelin Lifestealer farmed everything, and this allows him to start skipping the creeps a little faster. And because he has so much more DPS this early, his wave of creeps that he would send to the tower would always be healthier hitting the tower, meaning not only he is farming faster, but the direct result of the farming speed is more map pressure because this is more attacks the tower has to issue to clear the wave, and so the tower is taking more damage. This is something lower MMR players struggle to understand, but by addressing the wave, you get more time to do anything, whether that's getting to your next item or fighting. While the tower felt at 4 minutes 24 with the MKB Lifestealer, the Midas Lifestealer got it at around 5:10. But the actual difference maker in how fast they were able to farm comes from the fact that Lifestealer already has insane attack speed, so Midas really doesn't add much to his DPS. Blitznukle, for instance, gives him the same attack speed Midas does, but for less than half the price. And at the end of this experiment, the Midas Lifestealer had more GPM and experience per minute, but so little that it made almost no difference. He was 0.2 levels ahead and had a whopping 40 extra GPM. But you have to realize this is on a perfect scenario where Midas was used every time it was ready and he never died. It's not hard to see that the Midas Lifestealer is not going to be as effective in team fights until his item pays off, whereas the MKB gets ready really quickly. And even without the MKB, we already saw how much more damage the Javelin is able to bring to this guy. And we didn't even address the fact that when the Midas Lifestealer dies with the Midas about to be ready, he loses a lot of GPM, whereas the MKB Lifestealer has a more stable GPM. When he respawns, he still farms at the same rate, whereas Lifestealer gets punished quite hard if his Midas was about to be ready when he dies. Besides the fact that you farm really fast though, there are so many benefits of getting the early MKB. Heaven's Halberd is a very popular item at the moment, and the fact that you don't have to worry about evasion this early is amazing, not only against the strength heroes that are gonna get the item, but also against the agility heroes that might get Butterfly eventually. Also, because you do magic damage with the proc, it means that their high armor get negated pretty quickly, and even if they go BKB with the changes where you're still doing the damage, they don't have 100% magic resistance, makes this item amazing on this hero. The great thing about this build is that you don't really need a great laning state to start farming fast. The Javelin allows you to pick up the pace, and once you get the Blitznukle and eventually the MKB, as we showed, you can farm pretty much at a Midas pace, but with the added benefit of fighting really well. Even with the nerfs to the recipe, the power spike is still amazing. Obviously, against drafts that have a lot of physical damage, or in case you just lost the laning stage really hard, you might be forced into an armlet, but as Q-Bo showed through almost all of his games, sometimes the best defense is actually offense. And after you start winning a couple of fights with the MKB, you can itemize with something like a Halberd, or you can get more damage, double down on it with a Desolator.
I want to leave, man. I actually can't take how bad everything is.
Guys, I'm sorry for interrupting the guide, but I have a really cool update I'm excited to talk about. You ever felt like Arteezy playing a game?
Why do I get these players like the CM? Look, I click on him now and I just look at his items. I don't understand.
Imagine how he would feel if he also picked bad heroes on top of everything else. I'm here to tell you that besides the 20-minute weekly analysis I'm dropping in my Patreon to help you pick your heroes better during patch 727, I'm also offering a 20-page PDF file that includes what, in my opinion, are the best heroes of the patch for each position, and that PDF is going to be updated weekly. I know there are services that tell you what to pick, but they use global win rates that are usually quite misleading, and they don't account for lanes and roles, and very often can cause more harm than good. Guys, thank you a lot for watching, commenting, and subscribing. These videos take a lot of time. I have to look for a ton of replays. So in case you learned something watching this video, make sure to like, sub, hit that bell button, and recommend this video for other people so that they can also benefit just as you did. In case you want a more premium experience than my meta analysis, you can hit me on Twitter to get all of the information about my coaching. In case you got back to Dota because of COVID-19 or the compendium, make sure to join our Discord server. We have a very friendly community there, and in case you don't like playing pubs by yourself, I'm sure you can find people from all over the world to play with you. If you want to see me play or stream, I actually have some big stream plans coming. Follow me on Twitch. And finally, if you do want to help the channel but the meta guides is not really something you care about, check our other Patreon tiers because maybe one of them interests you. Guys, thank you a lot for watching. Hope you have a green week. Have a good one and bye.